Hey everyone, I was just working on this track that you heard on the intro, and I had an upright bass part that you'll hear here. And I was recording the stems into Ableton to finish the track, and I realized the bass part was just kind of a little bit thin, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to bolster the bottom end with a sub bass, maybe using like an operator or some other kind of virtual instrument in Ableton. But I realized that when I went to record the MIDI, that the Deluge was not outputting the MIDI data from the track. So my natural response was to go ahead and push the learn button and assign my MIDI controller to it, thinking that that would change the MIDI channel of the said track for that upright bass sound, and then I would be able to record the MIDI into Ableton. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So the workaround that I came up with, or the little trick here, is to, I went into the actual track and I zoomed out so I can make sure I could see all the notes here, because if you're at 16th level, it's actually over 4 bars. So I zoomed out so I would capture the full phrase, and then we'll go ahead and learn and push down to copy. Then I went back to the song, made a new track, change that to a MIDI track, and then of course try to reach here so you can see, shift, learn, and push down to paste that MIDI data. So now I have that exact same bass line on a MIDI track, and at this point now it is outputting on whatever MIDI channel I want, and I can capture that into Ableton. Also, after I was working on this video, just coming up with the idea, I realized there's actually a much quicker way to do this. Just go so where you can see a blank line, and then here is my baseline track. You just hold down on that track and it copies it over to this track. And at this point it is a synth track, but this is an even easier way to do it. All you got to do is just hit MIDI, and now those MIDI notes from the upright bass track are actually on that track. And if you're not looking to preserve that track, or if you just want to get it tracked into another sequencer like Ableton, I figured out an even quicker way, and it seems more than obvious, but if you're within that track, you can literally just change it to MIDI, track your MIDI in, and then you can change it back or what have you. And then one thing that I did learn also that's quite handy is that you actually can copy your part to another track entirely. So if we just hit copy, we can go into song and load up a totally different track, go to a blank pattern or a blank line there, and shift, learn, and paste. So it's pretty neat that you can actually move parts around from song to song if you want to remix it, or you got one good part that you want to incorporate in another track, so on and so forth. Those are all good and fun tricks. All right, we're back now, and as you can see, we've got a little friend with us. And the last thing we can do, of course, by copying these note data over to a MIDI track is we can have a little fun, and now we can trigger a module or an external synth with the same notes that we were using to drive the original line. So if we just unsolo this here, back here where we got our upright bass line, and up here is the track that we copied it to. And if we just, it's hard to get out of the way of the camera here, but we're gonna solo that guy. Now we have the mighty Minotaur here. So there's just some ideas how you can get that note data from an existing part you wrote over to another part where you can use it for MIDI. I'm sure the same can be used for CV. If we went into that track, we could take that note data and we could just run it over to a CV. I don't have anything hooked up CV now, but the same can be done. Same can be done with a drum machine. If you wrote a drum part, you could change it over to MIDI and have that fire an external drum machine, so on and so forth. So just another idea for you. Hope you guys enjoy, and if you do me a favor, if you could like and hit that subscribe button down there. Leave a comment if you have any questions, or if you figure out a better way or a different idea to play off this. I'd love to hear about it. If you want to hear more on this channel, just let me know what you'd like to see. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching.